The world that fell asleep. I used to think the world ended with explosions. Now I'm not so sure. Most days it feels like it's ending quietly, through the glow of screens, through the hum of convenience, through the steady rhythm of people forgetting how to look up. I walk through the city and it's like watching a film stuck on loop. Faces lit by blue light, hands moving automatically, scroll, tap, tap. It's beautiful in a strange way. A choreography of sleepwalkers. I notice the way advertisements talk louder than people. Every corner promises something brighter, faster, newer. But underneath the music and motion, there's this stillness, like a breath being held for too long. I pass a cafe window. Two friends sit together but speak in different silences, their eyes buried in small glowing rectangles. Their laughter, when it comes, feels rehearsed, like remembering what joy used to sound like. At the crosswalk, the crowd surges forward when the light changes. No one looks at the sky. No one notices the wind carrying the smell of rain. I do, and for a second, I feel guilty for noticing. It's strange how awareness feels like rebellion. I started keeping a notebook, not for poetry, just fragments, things that catch my eye before they vanish. Child points at sunset, mother doesn't look. Delivery man hums a hymn under his breath. Billboard says, forever faster. It doesn't sound like much, but when I read the pages together, they form a picture. A picture of a world too busy to see itself. Maybe that's how endings really begin. Not with chaos, but with comfort. With people trading wonder for routine. Trading questions for answers that fit in a headline. Sometimes, late at night, I walk the empty streets just to feel something real. The air smells like metal after rain. Neon puddles ripple under my shoes. For a moment, the city feels alive again, and I wonder if it ever truly was asleep, or if I'm the one just waking up. There's a building near my apartment, a high-rise with mirrored windows. At sunset, it reflects the whole skyline, like a city staring at its own reflection. Every evening, I watch it turn gold, then red, then black. It reminds me that beauty still exists, even if it hides inside repetition. But it also whispers something else. That reflection without awareness is just another form of sleep. That's the first thing I've learned. The world doesn't fall apart all at once. It drifts, quietly, elegantly, until someone finally notices the silence. The age of deception. Lately, I've started noticing how easy it is to believe almost anything, as long as it sounds confident enough. A headline flashes by, a clip plays on repeat, a stranger's certainty fills the room, and the truth bends just slightly to make space for it. I used to think lies shouted, now they whisper. They arrive polished and polite, dressed like good intentions. One morning, I watched a man filming himself on the subway. He wasn't talking to anyone there. His eyes were fixed on his own reflection in the phone screen. Every sentence ended with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. When he stopped recording, the smile vanished, like a light switched off. That moment stayed with me, not because he was lying, but because I realized how often I do the same. How often we all perform honesty while hiding behind filters of our own making. We've learned to curate truth. We trim away the parts that don't trend well. We edit our hearts until they fit the feed, and somewhere in that process, authenticity becomes performance, and performance becomes reality. I walk past newsstands now, rows of headlines competing for outrage. Everyone promises certainty. The one fact, the one cause, the one enemy. But certainty is addictive. It makes us feel safe, even when it blinds us. The noise never stops. It fills our ears, our timelines, our minds, until silence feels suspicious. Like maybe we're missing something important if we're not constantly consuming. But I think the real danger isn't what we're being told. It's what we stop questioning. A few nights ago, I turned everything off. No TV, no phone, no light. The darkness felt alive. At first, I hated it. The way my thoughts grew louder without a feed to drown them. But then something unexpected happened. The quiet began to sort the noise. Pieces of half-truths and fragments of slogans floated up like debris in still water. Underneath them, there was something smaller, older, a simple awareness that didn't need to be right, only real. I realized how long it had been since I trusted that kind of silence. The next day, I walked through the financial district. Screens lined every building, broadcasting numbers, colors, faces. People moved as one current, eyes fixed ahead, hands gripping devices like lifelines. A large ad above the street caught my attention. It read, "Be yourself, trademark." The trademark symbol glowed brighter than the words. I laughed quietly, then stopped, because it wasn't funny. That's the brilliance of deception now. It doesn't force you to obey. It convinces you that obedience is self-expression. Sometimes I wonder if deception even needs liars anymore. Maybe it's learned to run on autopilot, a self-feeding loop that keeps us entertained and uncertain at the same time. We argue about the shape of the smoke while the fire burns quietly underneath. I keep a note taped to my desk now. It says, "Look twice. Before I share, before I react, before I decide who's right or wrong." It's such a small act, but it feels radical. Because awareness, these days, is an act of resistance. I don't claim to know what's true, but I know how falsehood feels. It's warm at first, comforting, inclusive. Then slowly, it starts taking away your reflection until you can't tell where belief ends and identity begins. That's the second thing I've learned. Deception doesn't always hide in darkness. Most of the time, it shines. The final choice. There's a moment right before sunrise when the city forgets what it is. Streetlights still burn, but the sky has already changed. Shadows stretch in two directions at once. That's where I stand most mornings now, between yesterday's glow and today's promise. From here, I can see the trains pulling out, people chasing schedules like lifelines, coffee cups in one hand, phones in the other, everyone moving, always moving. But movement isn't the same as progress. Sometimes it's just motion that hides the stillness underneath. I've started to think of life as a long corridor lined with doors. Every choice is one more hinge that turns quietly. We don't notice the sound until a door slams behind us. Then we realize how far we've walked without asking where the hall leads. Lately, I've been asking more. Not the big philosophical questions, just the small ones that hurt a little. Why do I need to be right? Why do I want to be seen? Why is silence so uncomfortable? The answers don't come quickly, but asking feels like breathing again. One afternoon, I sat in a park near the river. Children were playing. The water glimmered like a moving mirror. An old man fed the birds, one crumb at a time. Everything looked ordinary, until a power outage rolled through the city. For a few minutes, the noise stopped. No traffic lights, no billboards, no hum of machines, just wind, water, and the sound of wings. It was beautiful in a way I can't explain. Not peaceful. Too fragile for that. More like standing on the edge of something vast and hearing it breathe. Then the lights came back and everyone cheered. I didn't. I just watched the river swallow the last bit of sunlight. That moment felt like a choice. Between the comfort of noise and the honesty of quiet. Neither right nor wrong, just revealing. At night, I write down what I see. I write about the people who hurry, the stories that sell, the truths that cost too much to tell. Sometimes I think I'm just trying to leave a record. A way for someone else to know that at least one person noticed. I don't know if the world is ending or merely changing. Maybe both. But I can feel something shifting beneath the ordinary days, like a tide we've all agreed to ignore. There's a streetlight outside my window that flickers every evening. No one's fixed it for months. It blinks once for light, once for dark, as if the city can't decide which it prefers. I've started seeing myself in that rhythm, half awake, half asleep, trying to hold both truth and comfort in the same hand. Maybe that's the real test, to stay aware without turning bitter, to keep feeling even when the world numbs itself, not to save it, but to remember it. I don't have an ending to offer, only an observation. Every generation thinks it's living through the final chapter, but maybe there are no chapters, just a single endless page where the ink fades a little faster every year. Still, in the margin of that page, we can write small things. Kindness, awareness, curiosity, tiny notes that say, I was here, I saw this, I cared. That's the final choice, I think. Not between good and evil, light and dark, truth and illusion, but between noticing and forgetting. And tonight, just for now, I choose to notice